The Laws of Ascension, Chapter 121, Bandits. See, Master, you do care for her, Nyx Fang tells Lorik, speaking through her soul. So why don't you just tell her how you feel already? She adds, It's complicated. Lorik replies using his soul to speak with her. How is it complicated? You both like each other. Nyx Fang asks, I'm just scared. Scared I'll lose her again. I mean, when I heard Vera was kidnapped, I felt like my world had flipped upside down. Lorik replies, Isn't that more reason to tell her now? That way she'd stay? Nyx Fang asks. I'm scared she'll reject me. If she leaves me, I don't know what I'd do. I was a fucking mess when Leora left me, and that was when I was a kid. So just give me some time. I'll tell her soon. Ish. Lorik replies, causing Nyx Fang to laugh. She doesn't push it, though, which makes Lorik glad. Lorik continues driving the wagon for the next few hours. After the third hour of traveling, they turn down a road heading east. It's a well-known merchant's road and has the occasional bandit. Lorik's taking it, since they'll be looking over the less-traveled paths for them. Once the sun starts coming up, Lorik pulls the carriage over. He gets out of the driver's box carefully, so as not to wake up Vera. He lays her down on the seat before feeding the horses. After feeding them, Lorik wakes up Rowan and Sarah. Vera's sleeping. Be careful not to wake her, Lorik tells them after they're awake. I can't drive with her there, Rowan says, causing Lorik to chuckle. I'm moving her, don't worry. Lorik replies before walking to the front of the wagon. He climbed in the back to wake them up. Lorik gently picks Vera up and carries her back to the blanket they set up. Rowan and Sarah jumped out of the back and walked around the front. There's not enough space to squeeze past each other with all the boxes in the wagon. Lorik lays Vera down on the blanket before lying next to her. He falls asleep quickly to the sound of her breathing. He's woken up after about 7 hours to Sarah shaking him. There are bandits, she tells him as soon as he opens his eyes. Lorik quickly gets up and looks around. Vera's outside the back of the wagon, standing and looking around. Rowan is in the driver's box and looking around. Lorik walks out the back of the wagon and jumps down. He looks around while taking a sword out of his storage ring. Torvin gave it to him before he came here. Don't use your laws, Lorik says, loud enough for Rowan and Sarah to hear as well. Why not? Sarah asks, shouting in a whisper through the wagon. They're not exactly subtle, Lorik whispers, shouts back. Lorik sees 4 bandits on each side of them. Each of them holds a sword or spear. Why don't you hand over whatever goods you've got? He hears a man shout from the front of the wagon. Lorik walks around the side of the wagon, keeping his eyes on the bandits. They're all staying about 20 feet away. Lorik gets to the front and sees the boss. He's shirtless, revealing his muscular and scarred chest. He holds 2 swords and wears hide pants. Since he's now at a higher level, Lorik can easily sense his level. He's a 10th tier mage. The other bandits are lesser mages of varying levels. Next to the boss, stand 4 more bandits, all 1st or 2nd tier lesser mages. If you want to live, get the hell out of the way. Lorik shouts to the boss while making a sword aura appear on his sword. A metallic silver aura covers his sword's blade. A mage, the Bandits boss mutters. He looks worried before smiling. Do you think you can stop all of us? He shouts to Lorik while motioning to his crew. Of course, you guys won't even be a warm-up. Lorik shouts back before walking up to the bandit boss. He looks taken aback seeing Lorik approach. Before the boss can react, one of his crew members next to him rushes Lorik. Flames appear on his blade as he charges. Lorik calmly raises his sword and swings it through the air. His sword aura shoots out and cuts through the bandit. The bandit collapses as the sword aura pierces his heart, killing him instantly. Leave now, or you'll all end up like that, Lorik shouts, causing some of the other bandits to step back. Lorik quickly makes a new sword aura, only taking 2 seconds now. It'll take 3 if he adds another law to it. Fall back, the bandit boss shouts while glaring at Lorik. They all turn tail and run off, disappearing into the nearby forest. After they're out of sight, Lorik puts his sword away. He then drags the bandit's corpse off to the side of the road and tosses it into the forest. Are you okay? Vera asks as he climbs in the back. Rowan and Sarah are sitting up on the driver's box. Yeah? Lorik replies, confused why she's asking. She just nods as Rowan starts moving the wagon. How long do you think it'll take to get near the border? Sarah asks. Vera and Lorik are sitting close to the front so they can easily hear each other. Maybe 2 or 3 days? We'll be heading a bit south while going east, so we won't be heading straight there. It'll depend on how the horses hold up. Lorik replies. What's the plan if we get found out? Rowan asks. It'll depend on who finds us. If we can, we need to take them out. If not, we run. I can use my gravity law to try and slow them down. Lorik replies. So fight or run then? Sarah asks, causing Lorik to laugh. Pretty much, he says before she sighs. What if we get separated? Sarah asks. Vera, stay close to Sarah if we get separated. Rowan, stick with me. If we lose the carriage or split up, Ride will ride Nixfang and Emberfang to the border, Lorik replies. Lorik, how did you get the teleportation slab from Soren? Did they just hand it over? Or was there a deal with Master and my father? Sarah asks, causing Lorik to chuckle. No, Master and your father didn't learn of this until after I used the slab. I'm sure they'll give me an earful when we get back. Lorik replies, So the plan is to just keep riding down to the border, right? Rowan asks before checking the map. Yeah, we didn't plan for much else. There's another Night Eye I can contact near the border. They're hiding out in Calvarus's army. I can ask them about the battle, so we can avoid the main battlefield. But it'd be best if we could do it alone. Lorik replies. So are we not supposed to use our laws? Sarah asks. No, unless you can't avoid it. You'll leave behind traces of it. And since you all use uncommon laws, it'll be risky leaving those traces. Especially you girls. Both your laws are unique. Lorik says, warning Vera and Sarah especially. Sarah's law comes from her royal bloodline. Vera's law is rare and unique to demons, so either of them would be easy to identify. Isn't the sword law pretty rare too? Rowan asks. Yeah, but not as much as your magma law. Besides, the sword law suits a mercenary covered in scars, right? Lorik asks, causing him to chuckle. Does Leora know you've come out here? Vera asks, causing Lorik to tense up. No, she does not. Vera, when we get back, I need you to defuse Leora for me. Lorik replies, causing her to smile. You did something foolish. You've brought it on yourself. While I am grateful, I can't help with Leora. Vera replies playfully. In that case, I demand a reward for rescuing you, Lorik says, causing her playful smirk to drop. Since I saved you, like a knight saves a princess, I want to see you in a princess dress, complete with the tiara you got from the mimic. Lorik says, causing Rowan to burst out laughing. Sarah struggles to hold her laughter back. What no? I'm not wearing a dress, Vera sternly says. All right then, just the tiara it is. Glad to have come to a compromise, Lorik says while grabbing her hand and shaking it up and down. You're lucky the tiara has good effects, Vera grumbles while taking her hand back. Anyway, how did you get the teleportation slab? I want a serious answer this time, Vera asks, causing Lorik to sigh. We came to a deal, and they gave it to me, Lorik replies. Vera turns and glares at him with a questioning look. I got it for becoming the next wolf, he adds with a small sigh. Vera leans her head on his shoulder again. Thank you again and sorry you had to do that, Vera whispers. Lorik smiles a bit before rubbing her head between her horns. Don't be, he whispers back. It was worth it, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. He thinks before moving his hand back. Vera blinks a few times before lifting her head off his shoulder. They continue talking while Rowan drives. They come up with more plans for what to do if something happens. At noon, Lorik tells him to pull over. They're next to a river, and Lorik brings the horses over to drink. Rowan, Sarah, and Vera start making lunch. After eating and letting the horses rest for a bit, they get back on the road. Lorik sits in the driver's box with Vera. Since she's wearing a mask, it's fine. But he wants Rowan and Sarah to stay back. After riding for a few hours, they come across a small caravan. There are 3 wagons lined up, with the back left wheel of the front wagon broken off. They were coming from the opposite direction. Hey there! A man wearing a suit of metallic armor shouts while waving to him. He walks into the road, making Lorik come to a stop. Could you lend us a hand? He asks while motioning to the wagon. What happened? Lorik asks while looking at the broken wheel. The wheel took an arrow from some bandits we encountered. We didn't realize the damage to it until it snapped. Since they used laws, the arrow went deeper than we thought. Would you mind helping us lift the wagon to put the new wheel on? The man asks. Lorik looks around and sees a few of what look like merchants standing around the wagon. There are 4 of them, but none of them are mages. The youngest among them looks to be in their 50s. There are 2 other guards, but one has their arm in a sling and the other's leg is tied with a splint. Looks like the bandits gave you some trouble, Lorik says while getting off. You could say that, but we gave it to them worse than we took, the man replies. Anyway, what brings you out here? He asks as he and Lorik walk over to the wagon. We're mercenaries, heading down to the border. Figured with the princess being executed in a few hours, it'll be easy money. Those Valthrone bastards will be easy pickings. Lorik replies as they get to the broken wagon. I'd think again if I were you. They just launched an attack in retaliation. They put up quite a fight. From what we heard, Calvaris suffered some heavy losses. The man replies before grabbing the wagon. He looks at Lorik, and Lorik grabs another part. Lift on 3. 1, 2, 3. He says before the 2 lift the wagon. 2 of the merchants take off the broken wheel and push a new one on. They then set the wagon back down before the merchants finish tightening the bolts for the wheel. Aren't you a bit young to be a mercenary? One of the other guards asks Lorik as they set the wheel down. That's the point. Lorik replies with a smirk. He draws his sword, which he sheathed on his hip. It makes them lower their guard. He adds while creating a sword aura. You're a mage? The first guard who helped with the wagon says, Yeah, I've always been fascinated by swords. My parents were mercenaries, so I watched them train for as long as I can remember. Bought a sword law carrier as soon as I came of age by saving up every coin I got. Worked my ass off to get this far, though. Lorik replies before sheathing his sword and dissipating his aura. He returns to his wagon and climbs on next to Vera. Anyway, good luck out there. We passed some bandits earlier and scared them off. But keep your guard up. They might be waiting for their next prey. Lorik shouts before cracking the reins.